out. Ekram Kona in the mix, Fabrizio Romano in the mix, and hope you guys are really eagerly waiting for this story to obviously surface onto your gadgets, whether you are using a smartphone, whether you are using a tablet, whether you're using a laptop, a smart TV, name it. We are here to obviously bring you the latest news and information as far as your teams are really concerned. Nketiah leading the way with Arsenal wanting him to pave way for the new center forward to come in through to compete with Gabriel Jesus. That is it. And there might be an option of them not even going in a striker to obviously find another midfielder to come in through and replace or really do the job of Kai Havertz, because Kai Havertz has gone ahead to obviously show to us that he can really make it as a center forward, because even yesterday when Germany was annihilating France by 2-0, he was really exquisite and he put in a very scintillating performance. Smash the like button close to 400 times, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so as not miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokan David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. I've already gone ahead to put out a poll. You can as well go into that poll and really let me know what exactly your thoughts are about Nketiah. Should he be sold by Arsenal, or they should leave him around to see to it that he takes himself to those levels that we really expect him to do? Go ahead and really vote, and by the time we end this video, we would have gone ahead obviously know what your thoughts are. Eden Hazard is expected to be voted amongst the set of players to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. By the way, it has taken long since we last saw a player inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame, and this guy, that is Eden Hazard, is into the mix and is one of those players that is expected to be really put into the mix in there. So that is all about the Nketiah stuff, and Youri Tielemans has gone ahead to eat his words that he is really okay with the side of Aston Villa, and he has gone ahead to obviously coming through and will give us the best that we needed to know about him. And this is why I hate it when certain players really speak out, because sometimes they forget and eat their words. And the latest one to eat his words is none other than Youri Tielemans, formerly wanted by Arsenal. You understand? So hope you guys are really having fun, and don't forget to subscribe because you want to hit the magic number. We've already gone ahead to hit 20,200 subscribers. Now we want to hit 20,300 subscribers, and we're left with like 40 subscribers to hit 300 subscribers in there for you. So go ahead and really subscribe. How do you subscribe? Lower right bottom corner is the place to be. Smash the black button that has the word subscribe. After smashing it, hit the notification bell that will enable you get notified every time I upload a video onto this beautiful channel of ours. And I'm here down in Africa to bring you these stories. I've come in late, but I know there are those people who really come in through and are always with me. People in Nigeria, I've not gone ahead to sleep, people in USA, people in London, and those that we're watching through in some parts of Asia. But some people in Africa have gone ahead to sleep. But I know there are people in Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Somalia, Egypt that are really watching in through. And let's obviously start it off and do our job. I know this is going to be a morning starter for many of those people that are going to come in through and really wake up and really say, oh, Rokan was live, you know. And for 3 consecutive days, I've gone ahead to be consistent, you know, doing a live, though I haven't gone ahead to get a particular time of really doing these lives, but I think I've managed to obviously come through and meet your expectation, at least on a daily. For the past 3 days, I've been talking to you on a daily basis. Yesterday, I did the match reaction of England and Brazil, and it was hugely watched. The other time, I did the story concerning Victor Osimhen to Arsenal. So today, I come up with the title, Fabrizio Romano, Nketiah to pave way for Gyokeres or Zirkzee. Tielemans eats his words, and the Eden Hazard hint. All right, let's start it off with Ekram Kona coming in through and confirming to us that Nketiah could leave Arsenal this summer, and Brighton, Crystal Palace, and Wolverhampton Wanderers have all been linked with the 24-year-old English player. When you hear his age, you really get to understand that it wouldn't have been the time for him to leave the side of Arsenal. But as I told you, that it was just a moment of time. It only needed time for him to obviously be phased out by the side of Arsenal. Though most Arsenal fans might find it disrespectful, but I don't, because I know exactly what it means. It's all about him, and it's all about him knowing exactly what he's supposed to be doing and where he's supposed to be. I understand he had run his contract down at Arsenal in the year of 2022. And towards the end of that year, he went ahead to score, was it 7 goals in 5 games? And Arteta came out and really apologized to Nketiah and told him, please, I'm really sorry that I've not gone ahead to obviously be giving you the time that you deserve. And I think you've gone ahead to prove me wrong. You get? So, after that, Arsenal sat him down, convinced him, and gave him a new contract. And he signed that contract of 4 years with a further option of 1 year, meaning that Arsenal thought that they could keep him here for a very long time. But for me as Rock and David, I knew the limits of this guy, because I knew that Arsenal were on a were on an ascendancy trajectory. And at a certain point X, Nketiah couldn't really go to the next level. Why couldn't he go to the next level? You've gone ahead to see to it that even a player that has just gone ahead to come in through Kai Havertz has gone ahead to overtake him when it comes to the pecking order of he's supposed to be the centre forward of Arsenal when Gabriel Jesus has been injured. Last season, when Gabriel Jesus was injured, Nketiah came in through and scored goals. And by the way, the problem of Arsenal has never been goals. Even last season, when they failed to win the trophy, it wasn't all about goals. They are scoring goals, and I think the only game I saw them lose when they never scored a goal, I think it was a game of Everton, right? They lost by 1-0. But the rest of the games, they got chances and they couldn't obviously carry them off. That was their problem. So, Nketiah came on. When he came in through, and he did the need for the club of Arsenal, he signed a new contract. He got his time, and he used it very well. We thought that maybe Arsenal needed number 9. I was like, no way. Arsenal needs more other positions reinforced. They don't need a number 9. Arsenal fans went all after me that Rokani, Arsenal needs a number 9 right now. I told them no. The problem of Arsenal right now is not a number 9. The problem is their creativity and how many chances are they creating in, or how many chances are they creating per 90. Get? When they went to Dubai and spent there like 1 week, you saw what happened. Arsenal returned when it's a different team altogether, and they were beating and scoring goals. And in the last 8 games, they've gone ahead to score, is it 31 goals, if I'm not mistaken. I can count you those goals to show you that they're already on my fingertips. They first scored 5 against Crystal Palace, 2 against Nottingham Forest, those are 7, 3 against Liverpool, those are 10, 4. After Liverpool, they played West Ham. They put 6. Those are 16. They scored, I think, 6 again. Was it 6? 6 or 5 against Burnley, right? Those were 21 goals. After scoring 21, they played against Newcastle. They beat them 4. That took their tally to 25. After that, they went ahead to score 6 past Sheffield, taking them to 31. And after that, they had to play the side of Brentford. They beat 2-1. So that means I had even gone ahead to cheat Arsenal by 2 goals. They've gone ahead to score 33 goals in 8 games, meaning that they averaged 3.5 goals per game. You know, did they bring in a striker? The answer is no. All what they did was to see to it that they create more chances and improve on the way they run, you know, runs with the ball and runs off the ball. They went ahead, obviously look better, and how Arsenal is one of those teams that he wouldn't like to meet right now. It's the best informed team in the Premier League, and no one doubts about that. So for Nketiah, this spell after the winter break of 2 weeks when they went to Dubai has gone ahead to show to it that he's no longer needed at the club of Arsenal, because if you are regarded as a second striker and your main striker is injured, and you, who is regarded as the second striker, cannot come into play, then you cease to make sense at the club of Arsenal, and you're supposed to be really thrown under the bus. And Arsenal wants to sell Nketiah to really get in money to replace him. Kai Havertz is going to hate to take over, and Kai Havertz is the main reason as to why I think Nketiah is going to be shown the exit door. Because if Nketiah was playing, you never know would have going to hit to score goals, because this season he's not doing bad. He's not doing bad, and is going to hit to be scoring in goals, by the way, for fun. Because in the Premier League, when you look at the stats of Nketiah, he has gone ahead to play 24 games. He has 5 goals and 2 assists. That is it. And in the UEFA Champions League, he has 5 games and 1 goal. That is Nketiah for you. So when you look at all that, it looks like he could hit a double figure. But the levels that are really needed at Arsenal to see to it that he elevates his game and take it to the next level are really huge, that he cannot really match them. He cannot really match them, and he's really one of those that you would like to look at and really get to know that he is really not needed at Arsenal anymore. Because Arteta is not even on pressure to bring him on. You see to it that a team can be winning 5-0 and the manager is not willing to bring him on. Him and Emily Smith-Rowe, I think they have high chances of leaving next in the summer, because even when Arsenal is going to hit to score very many goals, the manager no longer looks at them anymore. He overlooks them, and that's a confirmation that these players are going to be sold by the club of Arsenal. So, as I say that, Fabrizio Romano went ahead to put out his tweet also. It was via the court offside, because we all know that he always has a podcast there, I think twice or thrice a week on that website. You can as well find it there on a daily. For us, we go ahead and really quote out those good words that we need you guys to hear. He has said, "The future of Nketiah at Arsenal is up in the air, as there is a real opportunity or possibility that the player will leave the Emirates Stadium this summer. Nketiah could be used to make way for a new striker, which is one of the priorities in the summer of Arsenal, or for the Gunners. Nketiah's situation is very open, but there is nothing concrete yet." So, the situation is open, but nothing is concrete. But there are certain things that you really get to know that they are all in the glass. The wall has a word. Nketiah's time at Arsenal is over. It's seen by even the blind. It's echoing in the ears of Nketiah and his agents that he's no longer needed at Arsenal. And however much he is an academy graduate, his time is over. I know they tend to treat these players that have gone ahead to graduate from all academy ranks to the first team, to treat them well. They don't want to really let them go like that. They want to really show to it that we love you, but it is inevitable. I think he has to pave way for a new striker. And when Fabrizio Romano says that Nketiah has to pave way for a new striker, what does he mean? He means that they have to sell him to raise funds to bring in a new striker, because Nketiah right now, he might go for 35 million pounds or 40. You understand? Because he's young, 24 years. He's still young. And teams in the Premier League will obviously have to cough that money. And when you get 34 million pounds out of Nketiah, if you're going in for Zirkzee is a striker that costs 34. He's costing 50 million pounds. When you look at Zirkzee, let's try to look at Zirkzee and see what his stats are this season at Bologna. Zirkzee has played 27 games. He has 10 goals, 3 assists. That is Zirkzee for you. And he has gone ahead to come this good in this Bologna side. So he's one of those strikers that Arsenal are really looking at, and he's really doing great. Now, if you are to bring him in for 50 million pounds and you sell Nketiah for 35, that means you're only going to add 30. You're only going to add 15 to make it 50 and get him in, meaning that you'll just chop 15 million pounds off the amount of money that you would have gone ahead to be having as your budget to spend in the summer transfer window. Because I think Arsenal are not going to go in for that striker that is really finished article. They want to bring in players that can really believe in Arteta and not come out and really cause what we call disarray in the dressing room. And for Arsenal, one of the things I've gone ahead to give them as kudos is they've gone ahead to really control that dressing room, because all the players that would have gone ahead to disorganize that dressing room were shown the exit door by Mikel Arteta. One of those was Ozil. The other one was Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, that David Luiz of this world. He said, get out, you know, and he obviously saw them leave the side of Arsenal. Now, if they don't sign Zirkzee, there is another striker that has been linked to Arsenal. I went ahead to do a story about him yesterday when the Portuguese national team manager, known as Roberto Martinez, came out and really hailed him after he scored against Portugal, though Portugal went ahead to win that game by 5 goals to 2. So, Victor Gyokeres, I know most of you here really love him to come in through the club of Arsenal. You are in love with him, and he has gone ahead to play 24 games in the Liga Portugal. He has 22 goals and 10 assists. In the UEFA Europa League, 9 games, 5 goals and 2 assists. Then in the Taça da Liga, 2 matches, 3 goals, meaning that he has gone ahead to score 30 goals this season, and he has gone ahead to create 12 chances. That's what makes him special. When you look at him, he's that kind of player that you obviously want to lead your line. He's tall, aggressive, his skill set is really right. He has all what a modern striker really needs, and I think that's why Mikel Arteta loves him. Victor Osimhen, he's good, but this guy I think he's more flamboyant than Victor Osimhen. That's why Arsenal have gone ahead to choose him over Victor Osimhen. And there is one thing that Arsenal hates nowadays. They hate to obviously get in very many African players into their squad, because these African players will leave you when you're playing the African Cup of Nations, and you'll be needing them most, because in January, that's when the title race really begins. You know, to show you that the title race really begins in January, we all know that Arsenal was like, was it 4 points? 5 points behind Liverpool and some good points behind Man City before we really entered the new year. Now, they even ended the new year with a loss. I think they lost to West Ham. When they returned in January, they've gone ahead to win 8 consecutive games. And for everyone who knows what this league is all about, especially the Premier League, it's all about acting well into the final third, all into the last 2/3, you know, into the last third of, or into the last 2 quarters of the season. January to May, if you come out and really be consistent, you win the trophy, provided you keep yourself in a difference of like 6-7 points from the table leaders. You saw it last season. Arsenal reached January when they're like 9 points ahead of Man City. But because Arsenal failed to be consistent and lost very many games, that's when Man City had to catch up on them. But if that wasn't the case, Man City wouldn't have gone ahead to clinch the title if Arsenal was really very good. Peter Bagonza, thank you for watching him through. David Sozi, thank you for watching him through. And the other striker that Arsenal has been linked to, sorry, before I go to the other striker, let me first talk about Gyokeres. Gyokeres' price is £85 million. Now, you sell Nketiah for 35, that means you'll be needing £50 million to add it onto that money to get in Gyokeres. You understand? So Gyokeres is just 25. He's gonna make 26 years of age this year. By the time Arsenal will be really going in for him, if at all they make a final decision on which striker they're gonna sign, he'll be 26 years of age. That is Gyokeres for you. Then the other player that is out of the queue, though you never know and never say never in such scenarios, is none other than Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney has been one of those players linked to Arsenal on several occasions, but it looks like Arsenal have gone ahead to pull out, and they feel like Brentford want a lot of money that is not worth this guy. And when you look at all the strikers that Arsenal are really looking at, they are really cheaper than Ivan Toney. Brentford want to take the scenario of Tottenham Hotspur, that if you went ahead to sell a player for the caliber of Harry Kane for £100 million, why don't you really get in Ivan Toney? Because he's also left with one year on his contract. He's scoring in goals. Why don't you get him why don't you get us 100 million pounds or 80 plus and really sign him? But I don't think that Ivan Toney is an 80 million pound player. He's a 50 million pound player. That is it. And that's why I think Arsenal are going to have to pull out of him. The same applies to Victor Osimhen. 105 million pounds is a lot. And I think Arsenal will be like, let's go for Gyokeres, 85 million pounds, because he's going to come in through and allow to be an understudy for Gabriel Jesus. If he outperforms him, Arsenal will get him to the starting 11 of their side. That's what Arsenal is really having, and that's what their plan is for the next striker they are bringing in. So for Ivan Toney, I think he's totally out of the queue because Arsenal believe he's not that striker that is going to take them miles and miles and miles. So that is it, coming in through from from Fabrizio Romano and Ekram Kona about Nketiah leaving the side of Arsenal, and we are here to see to it that we bring you the best that you guys deserve. Now, for Nketiah, he has nothing to do because the team is going to have to take an extra level. You know, when you look at the teams that Arsenal are competing with, look at Man City. They're having Erling Haaland and Julian Alves. After that, you go to Chelsea. They're having Nicholas Jackson and Nkunku. You understand? When you go to Liverpool, they're having Diego Jota. They're having Darwin Núñez. Sorry about that. They are having Diego Jota. Cody Gakpo can also play as a number 9, a false number 9, and do that role better. So, when you look at those teams, they're really having good strikers, even if it's Man United, Rasmus Højlund and Anton Martial, because I don't think that any of those two I don't believe that Nketiah is better than Anton Martial. Anton Martial is just an injury-prone player, but is a very, very good player. And every time you look at him play, you really understand why. Very many people have gone ahead to obviously keep around him and really felt like he should be a good guy. But because of his injuries, Man United have decided to obviously let him go. And they've gone ahead to call it quits with him. They've parted ways. That is it. About the main man known as Anthony Martial. So, for Nketiah, it shows you that they are not really competing, or they cannot compete. Even when you go to teams like Newcastle have Callum Wilson and Alexander Isak. I went ahead to do a story that Arsenal are also interested in Alexander Isak, and I think it's one of those hard deals for Newcastle to do, but it will depend on what their thoughts are about their game. So, right now, you just have to leave it at that and wait and see what further developments are really going to come and show up for the side of Arsenal, because for us, we are here to see what exactly is really going to be given to the viewers of this channel. And Kai Havertz can even lead to Arsenal not to bring in a centre forward. That is it. Arteta might decide next season to say, all right, I'm going to sell Nketiah, and Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus are going to be playing as my as my centre forwards. If a worst case scenario happens and both of them are really injured, I'll get in another player in the names of Trossard to play as a false number 9, because he has shown great potential every time. He's going to have to be played as a false number 9. Don't you know that? So, there is even that option that you sell Nketiah and not bring in a number 9. Use that amount of money to reinforce other positions, like in the midfield, Bukayo Saka competitor, and a right back that is really versatile, that can also switch into the central defense. So that is what is running in my mind, and I just can't wait to see how things are really going to pan out for who the striker is going to be. But it's a 100% a sure deal that Nketiah is going to be sold by the club of Arsenal, and I think his agents are now looking for suitors. We've gone ahead to see to it that teams like Crystal Palace, Wolves, West Ham, Brentford are all interested in Nketiah. And I look at Brentford as one of those teams that can easily win this race, because they've gone ahead to lose out, or they'll have to lose out onto their striker, that is Ivan Toney. So they need a replacement ASAP. Not so? Let's leave that at that, and let's go to Aston Villa. And this is Youri Tielemans. This is when I've gotten to know that players will always stay players and humans will always be humans. Tielemans, on joining Aston Villa, he said, I never regretted my choice. It happens step by step. I know there is a project in place and there is sometimes a period of adoption. I've already worked a lot and I know that I'm reaping the rewards now. So, that statement that he has never regretted his choice is really bad. You remember when I came here and did that story when this guy was mourning about how his national team, how he is coach at the club. Sorry about that. How his coach at the club, known as Unai Emery, promised him that he's going to get into his team immediately, and he was not getting ample playing time. So he was like firing back at the manager and really informing him that, please, you told me when you're bringing me that I'm going to be a starter. I came in as a free agent. I would have gone ahead to go anywhere, but you are not really utilizing my services. Wagwan. And the manager went ahead to respond with a very huge game time went ahead to give to Tielemans. And Tielemans is going to prove himself. Remember, Arsenal also wanted to sign him at a certain point X, but it never really went ahead to work out as expected. So that is Youri Tielemans for you. He has gone ahead to play at Aston Villa. He's really enjoying the show, and he's really one of those players that you would really bet on every time Villa is really playing. And they've gone ahead to obviously win their games. They're into the top 4 race, and all they had to do is win all their games. If they win all their games, then they'll go into the 4th position. If they don't win all their games, then it's really going to be worse for them. Youri Tielemans, 25 games in the Premier League. Out of the 28 they've gone ahead to play, has gone ahead to score 1 goal, then and 4 assists. That is Youri Tielemans for you into the Premier League. So he's really a very wonderful player. His skill set is really one of a kind that you'll obviously want to watch day in, day out. And his only problem is his physicality and his intensity that it really applies onto the game, something that might really affect their side. But Tielemans is really doing great, and I understand after all the frustrations, he put out that statement that the manager promised him to play him game in, game out, and it really went out not his way. So wait and see how that goes. All turns out, but we'll be here informing you whether they've gone ahead to do the needful of having him or letting him go. That is the man who goes by the names of Youri Tielemans. He's really good, and I think it was an absolute bargain for any club that went ahead to get him, because he's really a very talented player. And he went ahead to captain his side, by the way, in the Euros. I think it's not the qualifiers, but in that friendly against Germany, in that friendly of Belgium versus Scotland. Did they play Scotland or Northern Ireland? One of those 2 gay teams. That's why they played, and he was the captain because of Kevin De Bruyne being away, and is it Vertonghen? Right. Now, let's go to the Premier League Hall of Fame induction. We've been told by some CIS reports that Eden Hazard will be one of the Premier League Hall of Fame nominees to be announced tomorrow. So he works for the United States, that's football, and there is no doubt about him. Unless otherwise, there is a certain way they are trying to obviously recapture back their attention. But this guy, Eden Hazard, did all what every good player is supposed to do for the team of Chelsea. You know, he did everything, and that's why they went ahead to sell him expensively to the side of Real Madrid. Madrid looked at him as a replacement of Cristiano Ronaldo. They went ahead to give him their historical shirt number, that is 7, and all never went on as planned by the side of Real Madrid. But for me, he should be one of those players that should really get inducted. But why do you go in for these players that have already gone ahead to obviously be appreciated, and they're really having that urge and anger to attend that ceremony and really try to see to it that things don't go their way? So for this guy, Eden Hazard, he's a very talented player. I really loved the way he did his stuff and his magical feat. And it was said that at Chelsea he didn't train a lot, and the manager was like very understanding about him. But every time he reached the game of football, you really got to know that he was not training, but he is really doing great. And it was one of the hugely kept secrets from the players, the managers. It has been revealed when the guy has gone ahead to leave the side of Chelsea. So players like I think Thierry, Roy Keane, I think Rio Ferdinand, Nwankwo Kanu, very many players have gone ahead to be inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame, and it really reflects out on who you are and what your contributions have been for the game of football ever since you really got to know about the football governing body, that is FIFA. So, do you think Eden Hazard should be given a slot into the Premier League Football Hall of Fame, right? Tielemans eating his words after criticizing the manager of Everton, not playing him. When he's going to start playing him, Tielemans is going to become a better player. And Nketiah to be sold. What are your thoughts about it? I'm having Peter Bagonza. Let him find greener pastures elsewhere, right? David Sozi, thank you, bro, for your updates and time. We are watching you from Dubai. We love you, bro. And Rokani, me, I want Arteta to sell because he's not the player that we need. So he is calling in for Arsenal to obviously sell off this guy. That is David Sozi. I really understand. And lastly, there is Ayeba Levian, at most 50 million, right? 50 million, for Tony. Yeah, Ivan Tony should go in for 50 million pounds. He's not an 80 million pound player. He's not a 60 million pound player. He's a 50 million pound player. And they should just accept that amount of money to come in through and accept that they're going to have to make profits of close to 450, because they would have gone ahead to make a profit of like 45, because when they bought him less than 5 million pounds, sell him at 50, get a profit of 45. Is that bad business? It's not bad business to me, and I think 50 million quid for Ivan Toney is really great. Then Sebandeke Patrick, already thanks for the show. We appreciate for the good job. Thank you also for obviously keeping it this channel. Now I sign out, see you later, but before I sign out, let me end this poll. Let me end this poll. 80% have gonna hit to say yes, Arsenal should sell Nketiah. 20% have said no, Arsenal shouldn't sell Nketiah. Let the conversation continue into the comment section below. The Muslims, Ramadan Mubarak, and to the Christians, we thank you all for the gift of life and the new people into your lives. Rokan David is my name. I sign out for now. See you later. 30 minutes.